let us now see whether we have actually succeeded in doing what we intended to do. It's never quite guaranteed in this world. There we are. Oh, excellent. That's always a brilliant start. Let's make sure I've turned the sound off on that so that I don't hear double amounts of everyone and you can't hear a horrible echo, because that's not very pleasant for everyone. Good evening, Maxine. Thank you for joining me this evening. I've gone live in my usual style a couple of minutes early. Hi Tracy, thank you for joining us this evening. Hi Joan. Hi Elizabeth. Hi Faith, thank you for watching. Joan and Elizabeth, thank you for joining me, because I know that you were otherwise occupied just ahead of me going live. It's much appreciated. Hi Philip, hi Ginny. So this is all cool. We'll just wait for, oh, my clock has just turned round to 7 o'clock, so that's always a good starting place. Good evening, Martin. Well, can you tell us what biscuits you've got ready for eating this evening whilst you watch what we're up to? Always like to hear what treats you've got in store and planned for yourself. So this evening I'm going to do a live using lots of different products and chocolate chip ones, Martin, I hope, or peanut cookies, or rum and raisin ones. Hi Anthony. So yeah, we're going to make a canvas using some simple Pentart products, ones that I love dearly, and some Prima moulds. And to save you the trauma of watching me paint all of this little lot, I've actually done quite a lot of the painting up front, but I am going to show you how I did it and how I achieved it, because we've got some colour mixing going on there. I just need to move my screen to a different shot. That's better. So as you know, I am working in my conservatory. The sun is shining currently. There are not too many dark clouds in the offing, which is always cool. So I'm going to create a crackled background this evening. Let me just flip that so I can see the comments that are coming through. And as I say, it's not a complicated project, so hopefully it'll inspire people to have a go. And this is going to look pretty grotty and sketchy to start with, and that's because this is a base layer and rather than anything important. So I have some Bourdon acrylic paint, which is a ready brown paint, and I'm just literally going to slather this on my canvas. Now my canvas is 20 by 30 centimeters. Let me turn it to the side, although that's not the orientation I'm actually going to be applying things in. So unfortunately it is not so hot in here that I'm going to be able to colour mix. So Bourdon is one of my favourite colours because it's not a true red and it's not a true brown, and for me it's a very neutral, if that's possible when you're referring to a red base, but it's a neutral colour in the dark spectrum. The next colour I am going to apply is actually vintage brown, which is a pinky based brown, verging on beige, and these colours will therefore blend together. And as I say, this is not going to be the top layer, so but you like brown. I do like brown, Anthony, surprisingly. I know it's a misconception. I just like it in controlled, sensible amounts, not slapped all over everything. but there we are. So you could use any, I'm using Pentart because they're a fabulous quality paint, but you could actually use whatever acrylic paints that you've got at home. These ones are ultra matte when they dry, which is one of the reasons I really do like them. But again, as you're not going to see a huge amount of this layer, actually it really doesn't matter if they're a bit shiny, because they won't really be obvious together. There we are. So let's just add some different areas into this, mix it all up a little bit. I'm being very naughty because I'm mixing my colours and then going from one pot to another, and that means that I will be contaminating my paints, but hey ho, the paint police don't really count, do they, when they're my own products. That you can, and then this will need a little bit of a dry. So what's everyone up to this evening, apart from watching me? Clearly, hi Sam, thank you for tuning in to watch. It's lovely to see you. So I'm going to be deliberately controversial this evening. Sorry Charmaine if you pick this up, or Lou, but was slightly, well, more than slightly irritated by a well-known TV channel over the last couple of last day, and you can tell me whether I'm right to be irritated or whether I'm wrong to be irritated. So there was a certain ODS launched last night, and a presenter who will remain nameless, but those of you who watched it will know, implied that the Prima IOD moulds were $29.99 each, and therefore them in their deal with 3 together at $23.99 was a fabulous deal. Wow. That's not the recommended retail price, and it certainly wasn't for the moulds that were at least 2 launches ago. And not, yeah, possibly, and B, most of us know that we got the current moulds for a lot less than they were being sold. So surprise, surprise, I don't actually think it sold very well because they didn't give very many stock updates. And so I think they might have been caught up and more full then. I like working with Sally Telly, but really, I do think it is an appalling thing to do. And not really acceptable from a trading standards or an advertising point of view. If that one wasn't bad enough, a well-known die cutting machine company had a show at 8 AM this morning that I caught with some orange scented waxes. Well, there's only one company that makes orange scented waxes, and that's Pentart. And the colours that were being listed are ones that you can get directly from Pentart. But the RRP for those was put on screen at $9.99 for a 20ml pot, with a whacking 40% discount on brand new products. So what a deal that was, bringing it down to $5.49 for one of them and $5.99 for the other, which is a bit nearer the RRP that the said company has on its own website. So spitting feathers and shouting at the TV, and my blood pressure went up. Really, I shouldn't let it get to me, but I just think that it is not fair. You're right, Joan, Samperia is made by Pentart, and in fact the graphite that was on television today on for said company that Anthony has happily mentioned is actually a Pentart colour that is made for Stamperia and goes by the name of metallic black. And those of you who know me will know that that's a colour I like to use a lot. So, yes, so rant and whinge over for the day, but I was not a happy lady. I was not a happy lady in any way, shape or form, because I just think it's very unfair when people are, you know, have limited budgets. Good evening, Jill. Welcome. Thank you for watching this evening. Your son and my daughter seem to be having a good time in Ireland. They were at Waterford today, and I think their plan was to go through the crystal factory there, which Jenny, who's my daughter, went to twice as a child. I think you just have to watch what you're doing when you're shopping from anywhere, Martin. There are definitely some things that I buy from Selly Telly because it's the only place I can get them, or because occasionally the prices are ridiculously low. And I'm not just talking about the Pentart products, but you know, I think it's about shopping around. So I want a crackled surface, and I'm going to use the cracking paste from Prima, from Pentart even. Now, I am aware that a certain person demonstrated Pentart the other week and implied that you could use the Pentart cracking paste without a primer. And well, you can, because it cracked beautifully for her on screen, but it is not the recommended process because the cracks formed that way are not stable and you need the primer base to start with. Do you think I'm not impressed with what they're doing? They get it from their mum skis. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Well, we took Jenny to Waterford twice when she was a child. Once around the original factory, and then when the original factory was sold to round the new museum. Yeah. So, how's your stock making going, Liz? Has it been productive today? Does that mean that you've caught up and I might get to see you tomorrow, or are you still going to be in a mad panic tomorrow? There we are. So that is the primer paste going on there because I like my projects to last. Now, I'm going to give this a good lick. Thank you, Anthony. I'm not sure that I'm going to be doing many more shows on there for a whole host of reasons, but I'm off the teaching, so I'm teaching at a retreat in August, hosted by the lovely Liz Wheeler, and then off in September I am off to Ireland to teach over there with some incredibly talented Polish crafters coming over. And if anyone has seen alchemy, yeah, I think it's art alchemy. Sometimes I call it alchemy, like art alchemy papers. Then the designer of those papers is one of the teachers. And a lovely lady called Agassi is also going to be using them. So watch this space because I've got a few projects that I've done as blog posts for a couple of different teams in the process of coming through on the blog. So, but you know, they are just stunning, and I feel very humbled to have been asked to teach alongside those ladies. I have to say, world tour coming next now. My fear of travel will not have me doing that. That is for certain. Sorry about this, but this just has to dry. It just does have to dry before I can put the next layer on. Yeah. The lovely Sam Lang used Sea Stories on her tunnel porthole box that was on TV yesterday with Mad Hatters. So if you want to see, you know, the sea themed papers, then there's a sample already out there, but also on the Alchemy of Art Facebook page as well. Yeah, so we're getting there. I just need to let this dry. No need to be sorry, Dominique. There's far more important things than watching a live going on in this world at the moment. And, you know, and if you like tennis, that's definitely more important than watching me doing this. That is for sure. You do just need to be careful when you're speed trying any primer that you don't bubble it, which is why I'm deliberately holding my heat gun away from the canvas so I don't have it, and I'm wafting it about so that it doesn't get, you know, too much heat in one spot. My resin pieces, of which I've got lots of them, let's move that so there's less glare, tilt that, there we are. I have cast from Amazing Casting Resin. That's my preferred go-to resin, but there are plenty of others on the market. And then I have coated them all with bonding primer before adding paints. I prefer the bonding primer for non-porous surfaces because that's what it's intended for. The resin, the mould that I've used for these pieces is an old Prima mould, and the reality of it is that this project or this piece could be replicated with any floral moulds that you happen to have, making it a hugely versatile project for people to, you know, to have a go at. And the reason I'm doing this ahead of painting those is I want to get my next layer onto here, and it's still a bit tacky. It will go clear, and I might abandon it in parts because I'm getting bored wafting this in the breeze, to be honest. So if I wasn't under a time pressure, I'd pop this down, let it dry naturally, go and get a cup of tea, and then come back to it. But hey ho. Oh yeah. Well, this group is... No, I did not pay $29.99 for that mould, Mr. Minnis. Not one little bit of it. It was an older Prima mould, and I think I paid $19.99 for it. But it was an older. It is an older mould, so I suspect that the current price would be around $23.99. My blood pressure really doesn't need to be raised up again. I just think that it was crazy and wrong. And well, if they want to upset their customers, well, they're going about it in the right way, really, aren't they? Having said that, has anyone seen the Quirky Birds launch tonight? Not that I'm a fan of most things, but I really did like the quirky houses that were there. Hi, Caroline. And no, I won't be ordering the dies and then downloading from the website the images. But I really did like the quirky houses. Now, Anthony, why are you laughing at me? And Sam, you know better because you like them just as much as I do. There we are. So at this point I'm going to say that should all be clear, because I really don't want to be here until tea time tonight, and it's still a bit yucky on the edges, but hey ho. So Did you order them then, Sam? I know you like them. So this is the cracking paste. Good evening, Wendy. Have you recovered from Sam and my's long list of things that we thought that we'd like you to make for us in MDF? Or did it make you sleep even longer? I know we were little devils with our long list, that's for sure. So this is the... well, I'm glad to hear it, Sam. I'm glad to hear it. Oops, she says, dropping dry. Yep. You're not looked to the list again. You're not. I think Sam and I have behaved. I don't think we've added any more to it. So this is the cracking paste, and as you can see, it's pretty thick, and mine's a bit lumpy. But that's because I've just stirred a whole mountain of water into it, because it had gone very thick. And again, it's not going to matter for this make, because I don't want a smooth back surface anyway. I want an irregular surface like an old wall. So it will work just fine for me. Like this. Sorry, I've just moved off camera because I'm a naughty girl, but that's because I'm wanting to get around the edges of these pieces. So, Wacky Wednesday it is. Well, it's not usually a term that gets used in association with me, but we could do wacky, we can do strange, why not? So this paste will give you different effects depending on how thick you put your paste, and I really like this sort of mottled effect that you can get just by having thin layers of it. Don't particularly want that whole long line. There we are. So we're going to have, and I don't really want the whole of the edges showing either. I deliberately want a uneven surface. It does look like chippy paint, and it's a very easy surface to achieve, and then you don't need to buy another fancy product to give you a chippy effect paint. So now let's just give this a wazzle dry so I don't have to utilise the ground floor of my house, of my craft room, as Anthony happily describes it. And this will give me variable size cracks. The octopus card, Caroline, or the octopus plaque? The beautiful, beautiful card was by Sam. No, two's enough. Two is enough. With such a wonderful painted octopus, and the plaque was mine. We're both very lucky girls to be asked to make samples for Mad Hatters, it has to be said. And just, I'm going to do a shameless plug, because why not? Sam is doing a live for Mad Hatters on Saturday evening in the Mad Hatters group at 7:30. So I don't think that will cause any conflict with anyone in the Crafting Together with All Brands group, because I don't think there is a live Saturday evening at that time. So if you've got nothing else that needs, is pressing or needs to be done, then please watch the Sam doing the Mad Hatters live on Saturday evening, and she's going to be making something completely different, which is equally cool. Yeah. So I think that because I'm drying this all in front of you, you can see I've got smaller cracks here where my paste is very thin, and where I've got the thicker layer of paste, you can see just how much bigger these cracks are. And it's just a really nice way of getting you know, added interest to a piece without a lot of effort, really. Hi Sabine, thank you for watching us this evening. Are you on holiday at the moment? I seem to think you might be. I could have that wrong. You leave waffle out of it. Is it Martin? Oh well, let me just do that. It's just I have an amazing pack of oh, does that mean you've been naughty and ordering? No. Well, I look forward to it, Sam. I look forward to it. And then the following week on Mad Hatters, then you'll have to cope with me at the same time. But hey ho. And just for added interest and exercise, Liz Wheeler and I have agreed that we will alternate Wednesdays, and then I have to hang my head in shame, because when I arranged with Lou Sims that that's what I was going to do, I then forgot and agreed to do a Pentart live last Wednesday. So Liz very kindly stepped in to do that live last week, and then I'm doing this week, and then I'm going to do next week, and then it will be Liz. So that's the plan. So we were going to have Liz or myself on Wednesdays on a regular basis, hopefully alternating, but each of us picking up and helping each other out as we can. And that just means that Lou and Charmaine, who run the group, know that they don't need to ask for people to do the Wednesday lives. If that causes anyone upset, or then someone else wants to do a Wednesday, then that's also fine. We wouldn't want to exclude anyone, but it was a move done to try and help the group organisers, so that they're not having to ask around every single week. Better not do that really, have I? Otherwise I'll clog up my heat gun. So yeah, let's get that dry. So sometimes I just think it is absolutely worth just taking the time to show something from start to finish. Thank you, Dominique. Yeah, well, that's what we thought we would do, and so 1 week will very definitely be a mixed media type piece, though I can do a good amount of paper crafting, and alternate weeks it's likely to be a paper-based project, probably a journal of some type, so that we keep the Wednesdays interesting and not too repetitive. Yeah, it is proper cracking, and it just works. And Wendy, if you're still watching, I really don't know what you're doing wrong, because it just works. I haven't done anything complicated in any way, shape or form. So there we are. And if I want to colour this or change that, I can then add some of the Surgels over the top, but I'm going to pop that on my chair next to me as opposed to on the floor next to me. Right, let us just right, eeny meeny. So what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4 wax, and I've got a green paint, but I've got those paints. It's not easy, it's not difficult, Wendy. It's just not. I don't know what you're doing, and I wish I could help you because I just don't know why it does it for you. Can't manage to get it to work. So I think that there are definitely other companies, crackles, that don't work as well. Finnabare's white crackle used to be absolutely abysmal. She has changed the formula. It now works, but it certainly was atrocious. So I'm just moved to pick up a mixing palette rather than making a mess on my desk. So and some of the crackles are definitely, you can say I've been working in a hot room, can't you? There we are. So let's just add a little bit of that into there. So this is just blue. That's what it's called. Nothing complicated about that. Hi, Julie. And this one is vintage yellow. Now the art of this. Right, as I say, I very much think that the two-step, the cracking for the cracking paste, then the primer is, is really helpful. So let's just mix this. Now I've got to mix this so it's the colour of the ones I've already used, which might prove to be. So you can see that I've taken that really bright blue, added a good wodge of that, and I've got a custom made turquoise, but that is not a bluey green. So I clearly need to put a whole bucket more. Yeah, I have to say that I used to use PVA method, but no longer do. But if it works for you, then that's the most important thing. Now I'm going to have about 10 times more paint than I need, but hey ho. So that's still too blue. So one of the reasons I'm doing this project is that I had it all prepped for TV show the last time I was on and didn't use it. So rather than it sit there and go to waste, I just thought I might as well, it would make more sense to actually show everyone what I was doing. So we're getting there. We are getting there. We're going to have 3 buckets of this paint, but hey ho. So is that vaguely, yeah, not far off that colour. That's always a good starting point. Right, let's swap that to a more delicate brush, and then let's do some leaf painting. So just because you've got one colour, if you understand your colour theory, then you can then make any paint colour that shade or tone that you want. And so quite often it's worth just buying your basic colours and then and some tonally mixed ones, and then working from there to mix your different colours up. This has got a vintagey turquoise colour because I've used a not a true yellow. If I'd mixed a true yellow in with the blue, I'd have got a bright green, and that wasn't the colour that I was looking for this project. I was wanting much more of this sort of pale turquoisey colour. So there we are. I told you I was going to have about 10 times more than I needed, but why not? Why not indeed? Now then, I've got plenty of kit, as you well know. So let us just add some of the border that I've used earlier. into my flower. I've just watched a lovely lady called Blanche on a live, painstakingly and completely beautifully painting a lighthouse with nice fresh brushes and not a bit of paint out of place. I admire her. For me, life is too short, and so I tend to not stress about it too very much. I'm going to end up with icky sticky hands in a minute. Normally I would suggest that you let each layer dry before you go on to your next colour. What about the new M&Ms, Martin? Have they produced some new flavours? There we are. So I want a little bit of colour grading to my... They certainly are. There is no question about it. Blanche's projects absolutely are gorgeous. And we're just going to add some shading into the middle of there with a bit of that. And a bit of the vintage yellow. I'm going to give that a dry and then add a little bit more yellow to it so it ties in with the other project. Never any need to be sorry. Let me just pop that there. I'm so tired of pink right now. Oh dear. That'll be Guild Lane paints then, will it? Oh dear, that's not a smart move, is it? I've done that before with Crackle and put the wrong lid on it and wondered then why my Crackle didn't work, because I put step 1 and the 2 lids around the wrong way. I'll get rid of that so we don't have that completely contaminated. They are beautiful paints, Sam. They are beautiful paints. But yes, you have had an awful lot of pink. So let me just wash this dry, and I'm going to add some yellow. Goody goody gumdrops, Sam. Not everyone likes pink. I definitely think it's worth having more than one colour. There we are. Let's just get this dry, because I can't add the yellow into the centre of this now until I have this a bit dry, because it's just going to mix way more than I want it to. Fabulous. Right. Vaguely dry. Vaguely. So let's just take some of this vintage yellow and it will mix slightly, because I know I haven't got this completely dry on here, but that's okay also. By the time I've added the layers, it's not going to be so obvious. Brownie M&M, yuck. Wow. Different things for different people, Julie, I think. It's the white chocolate brownies I don't get. I think I like proper chocolate brownies. I just think the white chocolate brownies are just way too sweet. Now then, let's pop that out of harm's way. And that's typical. I can see a little bit of the red area that I haven't painted, because, you know, that's what happens, isn't it, when you're painting? You miss bits and then you have to go back in and fill up the gaps. There we are. Right, there we are. hopefully. No, Joan, I just think that they're disgustingly sickly sweet. They're called blondies, aren't they? Technically, I think, rather than brownies. I mean, I do have a sweet tooth, but they're definitely way too sweet for my liking. So, there we are. But why have I got? I've got gold antique paste out. Gold antique paste was not what I wanted to have out. Let me grab gold wax. I could get away with using the antique paste because actually it's just going to be sitting on the surface, but I prefer the wax for this. So all I've got is a little bit of wax. On my finger. Yeah, that's probably a bit brighter than the bit bluer, and I can add wax to pick up the details and put the texture back into my piece. Now if I used a brush to do this, the brush would end up going into all of the spaces, not just picking up the surface detail. So in spite of someone else saying that a brush is better because it allows you just to pick up the surfaces, actually Mother Nature's tools are the best for something like this. There we are. Excellent. Cool. Back. And now look at the state of my hands, honestly. Right. So just give me a minute, because I cannot be doing with the next bit with filthy hands. And at least they started out clean, but I will get them clean. Yeah, when you're actively making, it is difficult, I think, to stay spotlessly clean, particularly if you like to pick things up to work with. But I do think cleaning down is a good move, so that you don't then end up contaminating things. There we are. Absolutely, Joan. It tells you, it says that you're actually the maker, doesn't it? Because you've actually done it. There we are. Right. Let's do that bit. Clear up that mess. Still got green paint. Never mind, it'll come off in the swimming pool tomorrow morning. Actually, it won't come off in the swimming pool tomorrow morning because I'm not in the swimming pool tomorrow morning. So, do I want that way, or do I want that way? I am wanting to do, you could do your composition landscape or portrait. I quite like that up there, the thinner crackle up there and the thicker down there. So let's see what it's going to look like this way, and I might change my mind along the way. So as I say, these are, I'm just going to audition where I want these pieces, because I think it's quite important that, there we are, that quick can go there, that quick can go there. So let's just pop that piece there, that bit there, that bit underneath there, that bit can go there. I think that, so if I pop that there, that does not work for me in that direction because it looks like it's too heavy that way. If I spin it round, actually it will work for me in that direction with that up ways. Well, to my eyes it will work. I have got some extra leaves to position, so I will put some extra bits of greenery into here, and I've got broken bits of moulds which are very, very useful for gap filling, and they just allow you to add some depth and some dimension to your pieces. So I quite like that in that orientation, whereas for me it doesn't work this way because it looks like the plant is drooping, but it would work for me up that way because that plant is upright. And I have a little bud that I'm actually going to pop into there, I think. Let's see where it's going to sit. I think it might actually work into there, sit nicely. And I've got another part of a leaf here that I'm going to pop into there. So now I have built a layered piece and just built some dimension along the way with my pieces. Yeah, yes, I can see exactly what you mean. It does sort of work as a cross in that direction, doesn't it? So at this point it's very much a question of you playing for with the pieces that you've got and building up a composition that suits your eye. So Alison, this is a 20 by 30 centimetre canvas rather than a piece of wood. Good night, Joan. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Rather than a wood base, but a wood base would work if you've got them, or a big piece of MDF would equally work. So now I can use my glue of choice for dimensional resin pieces, which is this one. Yeah, heavy body gel, and then you just have to get everything back in where you wanted it, and you never do. You never get them all exactly where you intended to because that is just the way of the world. But I know I want that piece in there, so I can pop that there. That's going to sit in there, and that will tuck underneath there, and that piece is going to sit on there. So let's just grab a splodge of that. And yes, I am being very generous with these pieces, but that's sort of intentional because it's going to shrink as it dries, and I have other pieces to add to it. So let's get this piece in. Dominic, I rarely do, to be fair. I'm not mithered if I change my mind part way through and it looks different, but it's a good tip if if that's if it's going to bother you that you can't make it exactly the same way as you had it. This just but to be fair, the heavy body gel is going to allow me to move stuff about anyway, isn't it? So I can just now add my pieces in. That needs to go there. Am I being overly generous? Possibly, but I would rather it held in place. And I think I'm going to pop that one up over there, so that can go underneath there, and I want to pop that into there. So I'm going to pop that piece into there, I think. Maybe not, maybe into there. Oh, she says popping bits everywhere. We've got our little bud. That I'm going to pop into there, I think, and one more piece of greenery that's going to go underneath there. So now I can pop the lid on that, Yes, Alison, I did answer your question. I'm actually using a 20 by 30 centimetre canvas, but a piece of wood or a piece of MDF would work. You just need a base. For this one, it doesn't matter. Now, the heavy body gel matte from Pentart dries matte, but it is opaque. So if you leave great big globs of it, for want of a nicer word, then you will see them. So it is worth just taking a damp paintbrush and lifting off your excess pieces. I think I need to grab some bits of MDF. I've just got some bits of MDF to fill that hole underneath there, and give that piece something to sit onto, because it wasn't grabbing on to everything. So I think, so I can have my piece up like this, as if I want to. I think. There we are. There we are. Maybe I was better off that way round. There we are. It's slotting together nicely that way, isn't it? So I can have it vertically, or I can have it landscape, and I'm going to keep it landscape, I think, for this one. And my gel medium is allowing me to do that. So at the moment, this lot just looks like I've plonked it on there. So you know that nice amount of paint that I mixed up, that I had a bucket load of. We're just going to add some water to, and there's my and I'm going to pick up a fan brush, and I'm just going to add some splatters in that blue, bluey green, because that will link my layers together, because the green then will go onto the back of the crackle, onto the white, and then onto my pieces as well. So I hope that makes sense. I could add some black splatters, but I think black is too harsh for my make. I tend to add more than one colour when I'm making splatters, again because I just think it looks too obvious if you've just used one colour. So that this is the vintage brown that I've used, and we'll just add just a sprinkling. And it is possible to add too many and make it look like someone sneezed all over it. There we are. So there we are. And for a change, I'm not going to put a word on here. I'm sure I could if I wanted to. I could find a word that maybe said bloom, or bloom where you're planted, but I'm actually going to leave it as it is, just as a straightforward mixed media canvas piece. So as I say, we can have our piece this way, or we can have it that way, depending on the wall space that you have and what you want to do with it. So I hope that that has been a good live for you this evening, that you've enjoyed it. The lovely Liz is going to be doing the live next Wednesday. Lovely Sam is live on Mad Hatters on Saturday at 7:30, and so that should then be, you know, give us at least some entertainment and some space for the next few days. So take care everyone, enjoy the rest of your evening and enjoy your crafting. Bye.